Hi, I'm Dr. Ryan Shelton, and I'd like you to do something for me. I'd like you to sit back in your chair, close your eyes, and imagine a life 100% free from type 2 diabetes. Imagine waking up in the morning and no longer having to think about dealing with this debilitating disease. Imagine a life with no more needles, finger pricks, or test strips. Imagine not having to purchase any more medication or suffer from the inevitable side effects that you're probably experiencing right now because of these drugs. Imagine living a life where you can eat your favorite foods without having to worry about piling on the pounds or worse, going into a diabetic shock or even a coma. Imagine feeling as energetic and alive as you did in your teens and 20s before this devastating condition began to blight every aspect of your life. Imagine a life free from fear, where you no longer needed to worry about the very real possibility of losing a limb, going blind, or succumbing to nerve damage, kidney failure, heart disease, stroke, or any of the other terrible and life-threatening conditions associated with diabetes. Do you even remember those days when you lived without fear and worry? When you were healthy and slim, full of life, when you could do whatever you wanted and eat whatever you wanted without the constant shadow of diabetes hanging over you? Those memories probably seem like a long time ago, right? After all, if you're anything like my patients, probably you think that those days are long gone and that this is your life now, that you'll never be free from diabetes. But that's not the way it has to be. You see, I'm about to give you a second chance. The chance you've been desperate for so long now. The chance that deep down you knew was right around the corner. The chance to start living your life again, 100% free from diabetes. In fact, over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you just how, from 60 seconds a day, you can turn back the clock, effectively reset your body's ability to regulate your blood sugar, kickstart your pancreas, and completely reverse your type 2 diabetes in as little as 50 short days, allowing you to live a life once again full, free from pain, inconvenience, worry, and fear. No matter if you're 60, 80, or 100, no matter your weight, no matter the extent of your diabetes, or even if your doctor has said your condition is irreversible and hopeless. In fact, by following the proven system I'm about to reveal to you on this very segment, you can achieve all of this without the frustration of yet another diabetic diet plan, without starving yourself, without changing your diet at all. Now, you may be sitting there feeling a little skeptical right now, and I completely understand. After all, for years, you've been led to believe that your diabetes cannot be reversed, and that the only option you have to manage it is with drugs, which can often leave you battling some pretty unpleasant side effects. But the truth is, type 2 diabetes can be reversed. Better still, you can do it in as little as 50 days from the comfort of your own home without having to spend a penny and with just a commitment of 60 seconds a day. Yes, that's right, from just 60 seconds per day. And if you're thinking, yeah, right, that all sounds a little too good to be true, I urge you just keep an open mind for a few more minutes. Because this completely natural treatment method, which has been developed by myself and my team of medical researchers, has already been clinically proven in countless peer-reviewed medical journals and studies such as those from the esteemed Heriot-Watt University and the University of Windsor to dramatically lower blood sugar, improve insulin sensitivity, boost weight loss, reduce blood pressure, and dramatically improve overall health. And if you just stick with me for just a little while longer, I'm going to show you the undeniable medical research that supports these claims. And I'll also reveal exactly what you need to do to start putting this treatment into practice yourself right now, so you can start the process of reversing your type 2 diabetes or prediabetes. And in the next few minutes, we can transform your health and well-being in the process. But there's an important question that you might be asking yourself right now. And that is, how can I possibly know that this treatment method will work for you personally when I've never met you? I don't know what your current blood sugar readings are. I don't know anything about your family history, your weight, or what medications you're on. Well, it's a good question. But the truth is, none of that matters. Firstly, because this isn't a drug concocted in a laboratory. It's 100% safe and 100% natural. And secondly, because the treatment I'm about to reveal is 100% effective, it has already slashed blood sugar readings and transformed the health of 100% of my patients. In fact, not just my patients, but thousands of patients around the world who have already been able to completely reverse their type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetic symptoms simply by following this system. And because of our spectacular success, we've received thousands and thousands of emails, letters, and phone calls from ecstatic men, women, and even children who are desperate to thank us and tell us about their personal story of how this treatment has changed their lives. In fact, let me quickly share just one of those emails with you now. This is one from Belinda from Atlantic City, New Jersey, and here's what she had to say about this pioneering new treatment method.
Hi to all at the Diabetes 60 System. Thank you for sharing your program with me. I've had diabetes for more than a decade, and I'd accepted long ago that it would be with me for life and that all I could do was manage it as best I could with medication. Up until my last doctor's visit a few months ago, I weighed 224 pounds, and my blood sugar readings were consistently in the low 200s. In a few short weeks, I've lost close to 19 pounds and brought my blood sugar all the way down to around 120. Last week, I visited my doctor again, and he was visibly stunned at the speed at which my type 2 diabetes is regressing and is already recommending your system to all of his patients. Thank you again, Belinda.
We have many more exciting emails and letters just like that, and I'll be showing you some even more incredible results later on in this presentation. But before I do that, I think it's important that I reveal exactly who I am and why we developed this pioneering treatment program in the first place. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Dr. Shelton. I've been a practicing doctor for 12 years, and during that time, I've witnessed the devastating impact that this horrible disease has had on my patients and their families. I've seen young men and women suddenly struck down by blindness. I've watched as surgeons have cut through the bones of my patients, removing toes and feet and legs. I've seen other patients suffering agonizing neuropathic pain and come into my office begging me for the strongest pain relief I can find. I've seen loving mothers, fathers, and grandparents barely be able to speak or function due to a stroke, and I've seen even more leave this earth 20 or 30 years too soon due to kidney or heart failure, shattering the lives of their families in the process. And to be totally honest, I've had enough. As a practicing physician for 12 years, I've seen with my own eyes the disturbing and rapid increase in the amount of men, women, and children being diagnosed with diabetes. Right now, we're in the middle of a diabetes epidemic, and it's quickly spiraling out of control. According to the International Diabetes Federation, there are currently more than 371 million people in the world suffering from this disease. This number is expected to reach 552 million by 2030. Diabetes is already the leading cause of kidney failure, limb amputations, and new cases of blindness among adults in the US. And diabetes is increasing at such an alarming rate that a person dies every 7 seconds. Incredible. Just think about that for a moment. In the time it's taken for me to tell you that, another life has just been snuffed out far too early because of this terrible disease. But for those whose lives haven't been prematurely cut short by diabetes, there's another cost too. And I'm talking about your finances. The American Diabetes Association recently reported that people with diabetes and diagnosed with diabetes incur an average medical expenditure of about $13,700 per year. The report also states that a type 2 diabetic will spend 2.3 times more money on their annual medical bills than people without diabetes. So just imagine how many tens of thousands of dollars you'll be spending over the next few years to control your diabetes. Actually, I'll tell you how much it is. According to a recent study published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine, a person with type 2 diabetes will be expected to spend an average of $85,500 to manage the disease and its complications over the course of a lifetime. Because here's something you need to know. Today's diabetes medications are not capable of making you better. They can't. Call your own physician and ask the very same question. He or she will give you the same answer. Instead, they're merely able to manage your condition and to control your symptoms as best they can, rather than actually treat and correct the root cause of the problem. So you'll never be free from the debilitating symptoms of diabetes, and you'll never be free from the financial burden either. And that in itself is the biggest problem when it comes to today's treatment methods for diabetes. You see, instead of trying to figure out why you developed this condition in the first place, the first step for many doctors today is to prescribe pharmaceutical drugs, which unfortunately has the effect of locking people into a state of drug dependency. Now, I'm not criticizing these doctors. They're good people who are trying to help, but unfortunately they work within a system that now appears to put profits above patient care. And I'm not going to launch into some big conspiracy theory about big pharma here and how their drugs are designed to keep you sick and get them richer and richer. And I'm certainly not advising you to stop the medications that you're currently on, because the truth is, medication does have an important place in the treatment of diabetes. But what I'm saying is that you will never be free from diabetes if you continue just doing what you're doing. And this means that if you haven't already, it's inevitable that you will eventually succumb to any number of crippling and life-threatening diabetes-related health conditions over the coming years. Hypertension, heart disease, stroke, nerve damage, kidney failure, blindness, hearing loss, lower limb amputation. 1, 2, 3, or all of these devastating conditions will eventually strike you down and cut your life short by many years, if not decades. And if that's not enough to worry about, you've also seen how many thousands of dollars a year you'll be forced to spend on medication that does nothing more than slow the rate at which your health is declining, potentially leaving you penniless and in desperate need of emergency medical care within the next few years. Now, I'm sorry if all of this sounds depressingly morbid, but it's important that you understand where you're headed if you continue down the same road. I've seen this happen over and over again with patients and of close friends of mine. I've seen just how quickly diabetes takes hold and wrecks people's lives. And I've seen for myself, over the last 12 years and continuing, that medication is not the answer to reversing diabetes. It's merely paper over the cracks designed to cover up the symptoms. And as a doctor who swore an oath to help people and improve their health and protect them from disease and illness, I just couldn't sit back any longer and do nothing. In recent years, my dedicated team and I have committed months of time and tens of thousands of dollars of research funds to find a way to beat this disease once and for all. A real alternative to expensive, side effect-ridden medication and today's obsession with diabetes management rather than the actual treatment of diabetes. Because whatever your doctor may have told you in the past, type 2 diabetes doesn't need to be a death sentence. You don't have to be stuck with it for life. The truth of the matter is that type 2 diabetes is 100% reversible. And when we were determined to find a natural way to do it, a treatment that wouldn't simply control the symptoms, but would actually reverse the condition at the source, we did it. So how did we do it? Well, as a doctor, I'd always known that exercise was a critical part of diabetic treatment process. And